You will find in your packets information that was requested from the committee meeting last Monday from our leasee, which is the Patch of Augusta LLC. And I would like to bring to your attention Mr. Brian Hendry, who is chairman of the Patch of Augusta, is here to also answer any questions you may have. So.
Gentlemen?
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
Commissioner Johnson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Of course, throughout the last few days, I've had numerous phone calls and talked to several people in concern with this matter. Of course, we have, well, me personally, I have two main concerns. The funds that were designated for the patch in regards through by way through SPLOSH, it was not in the contract when the contract was drawn up, and so I have some reservations there. Also, the only way that me personally I would consider supporting this $300,000 going to the patch if we were to re-implement the wellness program, which have been pretty much done away with through the new management. However, if we don't do that, I can't see us putting the taxpayers' dollars into that facility, because I think in the beginning they had already pretty much factored in what they were going to need to do overall and to get that course up to standards, and at least their standards, and the things that they had agreed to do within the contract. So the only way I can support this matter is if they agree to implement the wellness program, and it gives an option to our employees to, of course, still participate in the program as they did in the past. Otherwise, I don't see it being a benefit for the citizens as well as the employees of this government.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Beckenwood, Mr. Hendry, and if you could please give your name and address for the record, please, sir.
My name is Brian Hendry. I'm the chairman of the Patch of Augusta LLC. I can answer Mr. Johnson's question on the wellness program. Before you asked about it, we've already started a wellness program with the city. It might not be perfect, but it's dealing with Mr. Beck. I think there's some requests in, so we started that procedure. I'm not saying it's got everything you want, but we've started it.
Mr. Johnson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Could you kind of enlighten us on how this program is set up versus the previous program?
Well, it doesn't exactly mirror what the city was doing before, where employees would sign up and they would be reimbursed through their paychecks. You know, that is something I think we'll have to work on. You know, that program is not in place. There's some other programs that he's got going with some city rates and things like that. But as far as the wellness part of it, that would mirror how it was done before, we're not at that point yet. But you know, if Mr. Hendry wants to get there, we'll certainly be welcome to talk to him about it.
Well, I mean, me personally, and I think that's where we need to be. We need to pretty much look at the program that we did have in place. I think that's the benefit overall for the employees, and I think it's fair enough to say otherwise. I think we can pretty much count numerous of facilities that we can use the dollars for, and I think that's just my approach to this whole thing. And I think I don't know whether my colleagues have anything different, but I think for the taxpayers to understand where the dollars are going and why they're going there, we got to have something to substantiate the reasoning for us putting that $300,000 into this program or into this facility.
Okay, if I can just come in there. That was to answer your question direct. If I can go a couple of steps back. This city built a municipal golf course in 1928, had great vision to do that, had even greater vision in getting a Scotsman to do it. But I'm only a custodian for the next 7 years, maybe a little bit more if there's an extension. And already, I think the insurances I've put in place must be 4 to 5 million to cover the clubhouse built in 1999, new pump house, new maintenance sheds, and the other developments we've got going on. So already it's a £1 million project. All the figures have been in the press in the last 3 or 4 years about the losses it makes. But it also brought in a lot of money. Lost a little bit. 600,000 was mentioned over a 7-year period. You're into 3, you're into 4 million. We've already started investing. Our members, just to let you know, with the membership program we put in, the most expensive membership is $500. You play as many times as you like for 50 weeks a year. And unprompted, we have a member here today who I think comes to all the meetings. His golf costs him $2 a round. Is that correct? On average. We have many people are in that category. Some are $5 a round. They play once a week. It's $10. Now, the way we do that is because we've told you about the Masters. And already for the Masters, just to let you know, it's already going to work. We've already got one booking. It basically subsidised the golf. So I'm the custodian. We have to keep on reinvesting. Reinvest on the city's asset to make it great, to make it a great municipal course. I will match everything we're doing. You've seen the changes. It's purely for the golf course, purely for the clubhouse, to make it better for the members. I'm here not as a private individual who wants to make money. I am here to protect our members today. I'm here as the chairman of the patch. New facilities, better facilities, showers. You cannot change your shoes in there. Okay? Cannot have a shower. Toilet facilities, bathrooms are not suitable for the ladies, I don't think, so we're putting in ladies' locker rooms, gents' locker rooms, putting in showers, you can change your shoes. We're making things better. All improvements to the golf course and the clubhouses to protect the asset. 1999 was quite a long time ago. Clubhouse still looks great. It's beginning to get tired. We need to reinvest. I think if we reinvest the money in the golf course and I match it, the asset will go stronger. We need to protect it for the next generations. It's been here for 85 years. Why not the next 85 years? And we keep that policy of keeping the rates for the general public fair and reasonable. Might be some of the cheapest rates in Georgia. The other thing as well, at the moment, we are one of the most private golf clubs in the US. Our membership is very, very small just now, 120 members and building slowly. Now, we'll get more members the more we invest. We now have to start getting them from other places. And other places who have changing facilities, better practice facilities, they judge it, they watch the dollar just now. They judge, yeah, the patch is cheap, but I can get that. The more facilities we invest in, the more people will get playing. People from the city, we're employing more people. I think it's an investment for the future, and that's what I'd like for you to consider. The wellness program, we are working on it.
Thank you. Commissioner Guilfoyle, then Commissioner Mason, then Commissioner Lockett.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Henry, when this thing first came across and I was reading it on the agenda, I believe this would have been a major factor on our bargaining when we was outsourcing. Apparently you wasn't aware of this $300,000.
I wasn't aware until after.
Right. But everything in your vision and your dreams and your desires to make the patch grow and succeed is what was originally stated in your dialogue when we was talking, as well as what's on the media. But any upgrades and improvements you was going to do on your own. Nothing has changed on that course except this fact that the splosh money is here facing us now. Now, I had people call me from my district. I had golf courses call me, talk about fairness. What did they get? I mean, they taxpayers as well, and I actually told them I was not in favor of it. And to be truthful, Mr. Henry, I'm still not in favor of giving out $300,000 because that wasn't part of the bargain in the beginning.
Correct. I didn't know about the 300,000, but I have to fight for the golf course. I have to fight for the members. And just to add one more thing, again, it can be confirmed. We started the investment, irrespective of the list. There is a new list. We have to improve it every day. If you go to the first tee has been remodeled, huge bunker going in the right-hand side. So we've started it. Hopefully in the next 2 or 3 weeks it'll be finished. So we're working on the golf course. So what we'll do is we'll do more. That's where I said I would match it. So we will match anything it's put in, and that can be done with the City Parks Recreation Department. We will match any funds. The more we both invest, we protect the asset for everyone.
Right. Mr. Henry, no disrespect whatsoever, but in my district where I actually vote at, when I voted today, we got a community center that's actually leaking like a stuffed pig, and I got over 60 tiles that's fixing to fall because of not being taken care of.
I understand.
So we could use that money elsewhere.
Okay, Commissioner Mason, then Commissioner Lockett.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Hendry, I can appreciate your vision and the way that you articulate it as well. The fact of the matter is, as far as I'm concerned, is that a deal's a deal, and that was the deal that you made. I fully understand through contacts and so forth that you're a great businessman. And so I think you would probably be remiss if you didn't come up here and try to get that $300,000. And so, but then I would be remiss if I voted to give you that $300,000 for these two reasons. Number one, when the SPLOST comes into effect, and that's the monies that you're talking about, in my opinion, we've hoodwinked the community to some degree when it comes to SPLOST. And a lot of those monies that are designated for SPLOST projects, such as this one right now, is not even in the city's hands. Now, you're talking about both of us investing. Well, the fact of the matter is, no matter how much we invest, we're only going to get $1,000 back a month, period, because that's what the contract goes for. Now, if you're willing to give us a little bit more money back, if that's something that you'd be willing to consider, maybe $5,000, maybe $10,000, perhaps, that would be something that, I might could consider. But the fact of the matter is that we're only going to get $1,000 back a month for the next 7 years based on the contract. And to me, that does not pass the common sense test in terms of putting the city's funds in there. If I need some more time, Mr. Mayor, you can...
I'll tell you when you're at 2.
Okay, thank you. But being a good businessman, understanding the course that you were receiving, you knew that you would have to invest in this project. There's just no two ways about that. I'm sure of that. Otherwise, you would not have wanted to be a part of that. I do not blame you for coming up and trying to see if you can procure this $300,000. I can't do it.
I understand that. Can I respond?
Okay. Yes, sir, please.
First of all, you may get more than $1,000. The lease was only a short-term lease. To put major investment in, you need a longer lease. So I'm here for the next 7 years. I'm not going away. If the lease can be extended, I'm always willing to talk. The more money, as I say, we put into this golf course, I think the more it's worth. And I think this golf course will be worth an awful lot of money in terms of revenue, but also esteem for this city in the years to come.
Thanks. Commissioner Lockett.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Hendry, I too am a fighter, so I think you and I might be able to understand each other. The Municipal Golf Course is in the district which I represent, and I represent proudly. And I'm concerned not only about my constituents, but the members of that particular golf course. That golf course has a significant meaning to me and many others. And like you said, it's been there since 1928. We are a group of local citizens that I thought it was competing against you on this particular contract until I read the contract a little further and found out that there was nobody else. The group of local people that had their name on the list, but evidently they weren't impacted by this RFP. The contract clearly states who will provide the equipment, who will do this. It's spelled out there. And my question is to you, how did you find out about this $300,000 of SPLOST money?
I found out about it at a meeting, I think, on the handover, maybe on 28th of December.
No, but how did you find out about it?
With a meeting with Mr. Beck.
Did Mr. Beck tell you that?
I think 28th, maybe, yeah.
Sure.
First time we were doing a handover just before we took over on the 1st of January. First time I heard about the money was about the 28th of December.
I have a problem with that. I cannot understand how a person representing the city would try to give $300,000 of taxpayers' money to this private individual.
No, sir. You're the only ones that can give that money because the monies were already allocated to the municipal golf course by the voters. By the voters, and it was, and you are the only ones that can change that, and that's why we have this agreement.
No, I understand that. I understand that we're the ones that can change that. But what I don't understand is, why would you go to him? Why wouldn't you come to the commission first and say, this is a recommendation that I would like to make, without getting him involved? And another thing I don't understand out of Mr. Beck is, he has indicated several times today that he's willing to put up matching funds. But 2 weeks ago, he hadn't even been consulted about putting up matching funds. That's something that came about in the last 2 weeks.
Well, he never put it in writing. He was asked to put it in writing. That came out of the committee meeting last Monday.
Now, when I
That's what
spoke
asked
with you,
him to do.
Mr. Beck, 2 weeks ago, you said that he had not been consulted about matching funds, that you would check with him.
Not in writing. We've had many discussions about all the improvements that he wants to make up there, and I've been in dialogue with him about those improvements the whole time.
I don't know whether I get the votes or not, but this is what I would like to go by, what's in writing, and this is the contract that was signed. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Commissioner Bowles.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It seems to me that, since I'm the only one that voted against the sales tax last time leaving this body because of certain things going to private entities such as the Augusta Symphony, which we have no control over, Payne College, which is a private institution, not a public school, which we have absolutely no control over. We talk about a municipal golf course that's got to stay public, got to keep it affordable. Voters voted on it. I don't play golf there. I can care less. But if we want a good golf course, the voters obviously voted on that sales tax package that had a lot of other things that I didn't think were necessary projects in it.
The taxpayers' money without questioning. Like I think one of my colleagues indicated, we have quite a few recreational facilities that a lot could be done with $300,000. Mr. Hendry is obviously not suffering for money. If he doesn't get this $300,000, he's not going to go out of business. But I can tell you this, the next time SPLOST comes up, I think the voters are going to take a second look at it. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Hey, Commissioner Brigham.
Mr. Mayor, I hope the voters do take a second look at SPLOST next time and look at our management of it. We promised to them that we would spend $300,000 on an investment, the Augusta Municipal Golf Course, that we own, that we will own when Mr. Henry's contract is up, that will need improvements now and then. That is our golf course. Those improvements are our improvements. Those improvements should be brought back to us to vote on what they're going to be. I believe that's what's always happened with SPLOST dollars. And I don't see no difference in investing in that than investing in any other part, because that is what we promised the voters we would do. That's what they voted for. That is what we're obligated to do. But now that we have it leased, we're going to take the money from one asset, transfer it to another asset, and we're going to have them question even further our ability to manage SPLOST. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, Commissioner Smith and then Mr. Mason.
Mr. Hendry, that is correct, right?
Injury.
Heard you call Henry. Yeah. Anyway, I just want to say that checking around, and since I play golf, the handicap's horrible, but anyway, I've been over there, and I want to say that most of the comments I've heard of what's going on over there that is very positive, and those who play golf really appreciate what you're trying to do over there, and it's a city asset, and like I say, it's the future of Augusta, because when you say Augusta, Georgia, you think golf, and that'd be a drawing card, and what you're doing over there and propose to do would just be better for Augusta as a community, and golf is one of our biggest assets, and that course and piece of property, I played there when I was 8 and 10 years old, and to me, it hadn't changed that much over a period, but from what you're planning on doing and doing for all the people there is to be commended. And I think that the money was set aside for this, and the taxpayers know it. It should be used. And if you're going to match, that'll make it even better. So, thank you.
Okay, and Mr. Mason, before that, I just wanted to add on to what Commissioner Smith said. I think we do need to look at making strategic investments in the future of the city. I think this is one of those. We are known as the golf capital of the world, and I just wanted to voice my opinion that I believe that this is something we should pass once again, and I do agree that it was dedicated towards that, and that's the way it was represented to the voters as well. Commissioner Mason?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Smith makes some good points, as well as you do as well. Now, strategic investment, that's a good word to use, because that's exactly what we did when we leased it out. That was our strategic investment, so that we would be off the schneid for certain dollars on this particular golf course. Now, in the contract that you signed, stated that you would do the improvements. So, from that standpoint, I don't have a problem with that because that's what you signed. It was an agreement. Well, there was an offer, there was consideration, you signed, here's an agreement. Short of that, there's nothing else that I can say from my standpoint of view, because that's the way that America works, supposedly. Now, there was a mentioning of management of SPLOST dollars. It's kind of funny that from my fiscal conservative on the other end there, at the end of the day, when we talk about other SPLOST projects, there was never, ever an intent for the taxpayers to pay anything but $20 million when it came to the T-Center. The parking deck wasn't even in there anywhere, or any of this other stuff, or any of the other costs, or Laney Walker, or any of that. Lo and behold, all of that came in with somewhere between $80 to $100 million when the taxpayers voted for, you know what, $20 million. So, mismanagement, my friend, of SPLOST dollars is probably absolutely correct. So we need to start taking good care of that, and we need to start today. And today would be a good opportunity to do that. I've heard great things about what's going on out there, and I expected that because that's the deal that you made, and you knew what you were up against. I don't think you're going to go out, whether you get the money here today or not, and not do what you said you were going to do, because you have a contract. That's what you said you do. And so I don't have a problem then utilizing those taxpayer dollars on SPLOST funds in other like areas, because we have the ability to do that. Simply because it's there, and simply because they voted for it at a time when it was in city hands, and city was supposed to reap the benefits up out of that. Yes, that's exactly how it was put. If in fact you want to go ahead and put it back out to the voter and let them find out whether we'll spend $300,000, maybe we need to do that.
Thank you, Mr. Mason.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Commissioner Bowles.
Mr. Mayor, just a quick point of clarification. The parking deck and Laney Walker are not SPLOST projects.
Well, but they're not germane to this issue either, so let's just, moving on, there's been a motion that's been properly seconded. If there's no further discussion,
Roll call vote, Mr. Mayor.
a roll call vote has been requested. And commissioners will now vote through a roll call vote.
Mr. Aiken?
Yes.
Mr. Bowles?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Brigham?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Guilfoyle? Mr. Jackson? All right, thank you. Mr. Johnson?
No.
Mr. Lockett?
No.
Mr. Mason?
No.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
No way.
It fails 5-4.
AnibalShow.com